Tonight on ABC News Live Prime, Savannah Guthrie's emotional plea for the return of her mother and the new phase of the desperate search.
Your children will not rest until we are together again.
For the first time, authorities confirm Nancy Guthrie's blood was found on her front door. And tonight, a new timeline narrows down the window of her disappearance to 45 minutes. The sheriff says there's still no suspect or person of interest, but we're now learning about a ransom note sent to multiple local TV stations and why it's being taken seriously. The announcement at the White House that could mean you'll pay less for prescription drugs. The harrowing images tonight, the deadly crash of a police helicopter going down while responding to calls of an active shooter. Supermarket crash, the breaking news out of Los Angeles.
I'm Trevor Ault in Los Angeles at the scene of a deadly crash at a supermarket. What authorities are telling us about this driver, that's coming up.
Airport collision, the new video of the moment a driver makes a hard right turn and rams his car into Detroit's Metro Airport. The Los Angeles Lakers star suspended for shoving the opposing team's mascot just before the start of the game. And with the Winter Olympics upon us, our Maggie Rulli talks with the most decorated black athlete in the history of the Winter Games, a bobsledder.
Did people tell you you can't do this? You can't bring one, let alone two kids with disabilities traveling around the world with you as you train to be an Olympian?
Plenty of people told me that, and they still tell me that.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is Prime with Lindsay Davis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We begin with brand new video from the Guthrie family. Savannah Guthrie's brother, Cameron, posted this direct message to people suspected of abducting their mother, Nancy Guthrie.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
Today marks day 5 of the desperate search to find 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. The FBI said that they are working to confirm the legitimacy of a ransom note that includes demands and some chilling deadlines, one of which has already passed. The Pima County Sheriff and FBI today provided critical new details about her disappearance and revealed that blood found on Guthrie's porch does match her DNA. They added that they believe Nancy is still out there. The sheriff also presented a new timeline of activity after Nancy Guthrie was last seen. Our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, is on the ground in Arizona with the latest.
Tonight, for the first time since Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, disappeared from her home, authorities carefully choosing to reveal part of the timeline of what played out in the evening hours of Saturday night into early Sunday morning. It has now been 5 days since authorities believe Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home, and tonight the FBI with a direct appeal to her alleged kidnappers. This is a grandmother with a pacemaker and medication she needs every day to survive.
To anyone that may be involved, do the right thing. This is an 84-year-old grandma that needs vital medication for her well-being.
Tonight, the FBI is taking seriously a possible ransom note sent to multiple news organizations, including our ABC affiliate in Tucson, containing descriptions, including Nancy Guthrie's watch and potential damage to her home.
One talked about an Apple Watch, and one talked about a floodlight. We're not going to go into specifics.
Tonight, the FBI is being very careful not to reveal much more about the unverified ransom note, but this photo shows Nancy Guthrie wearing what appears to be an Apple Watch.
We love you, Mom.
Her children, their heartbreaking message seeking proof their mother is alive.
The family is ready to talk, get proof of life, because there has been no contact after that ransom note went to the media.
The note demanded Bitcoin and set a deadline for tonight and another for Monday if the first demands were not met.
While we advise and recommend from a law enforcement perspective, any action taken on any ransom is ultimately decided by the family.
And tonight, Savannah's brother Cameron releasing this video asking for a direct channel of communication with any kidnapper.
We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
And tonight, investigators are laying out the most detailed timeline yet, zeroing in on a 45-minute window in the middle of the night when they believe Nancy Guthrie was abducted. She had dinner and game night Saturday evening at her daughter Annie's nearby home, arriving by Uber. Police interviewed the driver. Authorities say the family brought her home just before 10. 4 hours later, at 1:47 a.m., a doorbell camera was disconnected. At 2:12, a Nest camera detected a possible intruder, but was not set up to record images. At 2:28, Nancy's pacemaker app disconnected from her phone, which was left behind in the house. By the front door, investigators found drops of blood.
Blood on the porch, that was one we did. It came back to Nancy.
Tonight, the sheriff says authorities believe Nancy Guthrie is alive.
We believe Nancy is still out there. We want her home.
But 5 days later, there are no suspects.
We have nobody of interest or any suspects that you would consider a prime suspect. We're just not there.
Is there information that you are purposefully withholding because of the active investigation that might be leading you in a particular direction?
We're always mindful of what it is that's in front of us and what we should release and can release. There's legal guidelines that guide us, but there's also strategy too.
The FBI is also concerned about other purported ransom notes taking advantage of Savannah Guthrie's family during this awful time. And they say they've already arrested at least one person over a cruel hoax trying to profit off the Guthrie family's anguish.
To those imposters who are trying to take advantage and profit from this situation, we will investigate and ensure you are held accountable for your actions.
Aaron Katursky is back with us. Just a heart-wrenching story. Aaron, I know you had the chance to speak with the sheriff. What did he share?
I did, Lindsay, and the sheriff is as heartbroken about all of this as the rest of us. He said investigators are out right now following up every potential lead possible, but he said there is no video to go on so far and no contact with any purported kidnapper. He says he nor his community are giving up hope. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information. The number to call with any of that, and the sheriff really wants people to, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Lindsay?
Hopefully someone saw something. Aaron Katursky for us. Thanks so much. With more on this, let's bring in ABC News contributor and retired FBI agent Richard Frankel. Richard, we're now on day 5 of this investigation. As you know, investigators say that they're looking at this possible ransom note. What would they be trying to determine as far as if it's legitimate or not?
So they're going to be looking at certain things within the note to see if they've identified anything that only the hostage takers would know. And from what the sheriff did say, and also I believe the SAC, the special agent in charge from the FBI, they did say there were 2 items within the note that were specific to this abduction. I think they mentioned the watch, and they also mentioned floodlights. And those were 2 things that they were able to verify are connected to the abduction of Nancy Guthrie that are in the note.
What do you make of the Guthrie siblings releasing that video, one in the way they did on Instagram, rather than making a direct plea or having a conversation with potentially the kidnappers, and also the timing of it?
Well, the timing, I think, just because of how long it took for this kind of to spin up, I mean the investigation, they put it out there as soon as they could in consultation with FBI behavioral science unit, hostage negotiators, etc. Going on Instagram, I think that was because they don't have direct communications right now with the hostage takers. There is no way to communicate. So they went out on one of the apps that I think, social media, that is the most out there. And from Instagram, you can go out to, other Meta, you can go out to YouTube or wherever. So it had the biggest spread without having direct contact with the hostage takers.
The family said that they wanted proof of life. You've worked on several scenarios like this. Is this the typical protocol?
You need proof of life. You have to know if they're alive. You have to know if they have them. And today, the problem is AI-generated filming. It's hard to tell. So if they do get some proof of life, that's going to then be turned over most likely to the FBI, where they'll do the technical, voodoo they do on it, and they'll identify whether it's AI generated or if it is actually a real proof of life. You can also do it by saying certain things that only Nancy would know and the family would know. So there are ways to do this.
Based on your past experience, have there been any missteps, if you will, in the investigation?
2020 hindsight is amazing, and I have it. And yes, there are things that I would have done differently, and I think the sheriff actually said that during his interview today. He would have brought in the task force and the FBI earlier, and probably would have made this more of an abduction case within the first 24 hours, as opposed to waiting and thinking it was a gray matter, where a person of advanced age may have dementia or something else. I think that's the way they looked at it. I think from now on, he's probably going to be a little bit more aggressive on these type of matters.
Richard Frankel, thank you so much for your insight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
A Maryland man has been charged in Virginia with attempted murder after he allegedly showed up at the North Virginia home of OMB Director Russell Vought, according to law enforcement sources. According to police, a witness reported seeing a male suspect wearing a surgical mask and rubber gloves, carrying a backpack, and appearing to be concealing a firearm under his shirt on the OMB director's porch. Colin DeMarco, 26, is also charged with criminal solicitation to commit murder, carrying a concealed weapon and wearing a mask in public to conceal his identity. Now to the deadly car crash at a Los Angeles grocery store. Multiple people were killed after a vehicle slammed into the store in what officials are investigating as an accidental crash. Trevor Ault is on the scene and has the latest.
Tonight, at least 3 people killed after a car plowed into this Los Angeles supermarket. Calls for help coming just before 12:15 at the 99 Ranch Market.
We do have multiple people trapped underneath the vehicle into the structure.
I was on my scooter on my way here, and I heard a loud bang.
Fire trucks, ambulances, and first responders swarming the scene, treating multiple victims. The market packed with shoppers not far from UCLA.
And you could see that car, so far inside that building.
A vehicle had struck a bicyclist, and then as you could see, it's entered inside of that ranch market and bakery, of which there were multiple patrons that were inside. There's seating and table areas.
At least 6 other victims were hurt, the injuries ranging from minor to critical. Building inspection teams now checking the structure of the supermarket to see if it was compromised.
Trevor Hall joins us now. Trevor, what more do we know about the driver of this vehicle?
Well, Lindsay, sources tell ABC News this was a 70-year-old woman behind the wheel. They say that she is okay after this crash, and she's cooperating with investigators. And they also say at this point this does not appear to have been intentional. It simply looks like a terrible accident. Lindsay.
All right, Trevor Ault for us. Thanks so much, Trevor. The Northeast is bracing for yet another round of brutal cold and even snow in some areas. More than 60 million Americans are under alerts for this latest Arctic blast, which is expected to bring sub-zero wind chills over the weekend. WABC's chief meteorologist Lee Goldberg has more on what we can expect. Not a break in sight, it seems, Lee.
My goodness, Lindsay. We've had waves of extreme chill this winter. To imagine it could actually get worse, it will over the weekend. So we already have cold weather alerts and winter weather alerts from the Ohio Valley into the Northeast. And that's for dangerous sub-zero wind chills that'll kick in over the weekend. We're going to start to see an Arctic front with snow break out across the lower lakes into the Ohio Valley on Friday morning. And by evening, this is going to spread toward the I-95 corridor. We could even have some squalls tomorrow night that reduce visibility, cause dangerous travel. Say in general, we're looking at about a coating to 3 inches across the Northeast. Might be a little bit more upstate New York and New England. Maybe eastern Long Island, too, could actually go over a few inches of snow, and then just west of Boston. After that, the cold weather is unleashed. Sub-zero wind chills on Saturday in the Great Lakes spread into the Northeast, and we're not just talking a few degrees below zero. 10 to 20 below zero I-95 corridor Sunday morning, and up to 40 below across upstate New York. You're going to spend most of your weekend indoors. Finally get to freezing by about Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Lindsay?
Continues on. All right, L to the G. We thanks so much. And we want to head to the White House, where President Trump is making an announcement about TrumpRx, the online prescription drug site. A short time ago, he had this to say.
Under the most favored nation agreements my administration has negotiated, the United States will pay the lowest price paid by any other country. So we're taking the lowest price paid for drugs. We will pay equal to whatever the lowest price anywhere in the world. That's the price that you're going to be paying.
Senior White House correspondent Selena Wang joins us with more on this. So, Selena, explain how this site works and which drugs are a part of it.
Yeah, we're still getting through all of the details here. The website has just gone live, but this is a way for Americans to go to this website, search for their medication, see if it's offered, and then they will be potentially directed to the drug manufacturer site where they can directly purchase these drugs out of pocket. Now, going through this website right now, it appears that there are only a few dozen drugs that are offered right now, so not a very large selection, but the FAQ section does say that many more drugs are coming soon. Now, the website is showing some pretty big price differentials depending on the drug. It's saying for GLP-1s, showing that with Wegovy bill, that their lowest TrumpRx price is $149 a month. Lindsay, that is slashed from the original $1,349, but some drugs do remain very expensive at more than $1,000 for the starting price. So look, the big question here is this really going to be enough to address the affordability issues of everyday Americans?
Talk to us about the timing of the announcement, as the president has been leaning into the issue of affordability lately.
Exactly, Lindsay. I mean, we have seen the president travel to different parts of the country to try and tout his economic programs. We know that slashing the prices of drugs and negotiating directly with drug manufacturers has been a big part of his initiative. But I can tell you, I've been speaking to experts about kind of some of the initial details that we're getting about this TrumpRx program. And what they're telling me is that this is expected to benefit a very narrow group of Americans, those who, number one, don't have insurance, and number two, can also afford to pay these prices out of pocket. So it's not something that's going to be relevant for all Americans. For Americans who do have insurance, it's expected that these drugs are still going to be cheaper under their insurance unless one of these drugs that is on this website is not covered by their current insurer. But the president is well aware that many Americans are deeply concerned about the cost of goods in this country. Many recent polls show that many Americans are dissatisfied with how he's been handling the economy. So the president really leaning in to these issues of affordability and efforts to bring down the cost of goods in this country, Lindsay.
Selena Wang, our thanks to you. Joining us now is Dr. Christina Madison, founder and CEO of the Public Health Pharmacist. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. In your view, does this website do enough to resolve at least some issues with prescription drug access and affordability?
The quick answer, Lindsay, is that it depends. It really depends on the patient and what medications they're currently taking. As your previous correspondent mentioned, the website only has about a half a dozen drugs that are super popular right now. The ones that he mentioned during the press conference, which were very notable, were the GLP-1s, which are the weight loss medications that we know that a lot of people have had challenges with getting affordability. So products such as Ozempic and Wegovy that were in the thousands of prices are now going to potentially be down to as little as $199. He also mentioned the price of insulin and that was being negotiated down to $25, and that a very popular inhaler that is made by AstraZeneca would be going down from almost $500 down to $51 for one inhaler. He briefly talked about a IVF treatment, a very common IVF medication that's used for couples who are suffering from infertility, but did not say the price of how much that IVF drug was, just saying that it would be a deep discount. So the key here is that depending on what medications you're currently taking and whether or not you're insured, and if you can afford to pay these prices, because even though it is a deep discount, it's still potentially a significant cost, especially if someone is trying to choose between groceries, paying household bills, and paying for their prescription drugs.
What kind of situations do you think it makes most sense for people to use this website to look up their medications?
I would say anybody who has a very high deductible, someone who has limited drug coverage as part of their current insurance plan, this could be very useful for them. Someone who currently isn't insured and has to pay cash prices, independent business owners, small businesses, entrepreneurs, they may be going without insurance. And for some of these really high ticket, high dollar drugs, this could be a significant discount for them that could really help with their overall budget.
So for anyone using this website trying to decide if the prices listed there are the best available for them, what steps should they take to decide that?
So the first thing would be to check to see how much the cost would be at your local pharmacy, to see what the cost would be without this TrumpRx discount and the discount that's being filtered through the manufacturer of the drug. Based off of the description, the website is not a pharmacy. It's not going to offer you the medication direct from the website. It's going to redirect you to the manufacturer's discount and patient assistance program. It will be interesting to see how that looks at the actual pharmacy counter because we've never seen these coupon codes before. So it will be interesting to see how easy that might be when the patient actually goes to pick up the physical prescription at the pharmacy.
Dr. Christina Madison, we thank you so much for your time and insight. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Next, the deadly crash of a police helicopter in Flagstaff, Arizona. 2 troopers were killed, including the pilot. The chopper went down after being called in for support during a shootout between a suspect and officers on the ground. Here's ABC's Melissa Dunn.
Tonight, this is the moment a police helicopter crashes to the ground in northern Arizona.
It's the helicopter. Oh, no.
While assisting officers in an hours-long shootout with an armed suspect.
There were 2 DPS personnel on board, a pilot and a trooper paramedic. Unfortunately, both are tragically deceased.
Police say they were responding to a domestic violence call Wednesday night when the suspect opened fire. Officers firing back, dozens of rounds exchanged.
What we had was an individual armed with a long rifle, a semi-automatic long rifle, hopping from roof to roof.
Joseph Moody sheltering on the floor by his bed, the gunman directly overhead.
At that point, when I hear him on the roof and gunfire from up there, that's when there was like no doubt in my mind that this was a serious situation.
That gunman wounded in the shootout. The police helicopter called in for support going down just minutes before he was taken into custody.
What a surreal scene there. Melissa Dunn joins us. Now, Melissa, do we know what caused the helicopter to go down?
Lindsay, at this point, the cause of that crash is still under investigation, and authorities have not yet revealed if that helicopter was hit by gunfire during that incident. Lindsay?
Melissa, thank you. New video has been released showing the moment a driver there in the far left lane, you see it there, makes a hard right turn, ramming his car into a terminal at Detroit's Metro Airport. The car made it all the way to the ticket counter. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
Tonight, terrifying new video showing a Mercedes-Benz plowing into a busy terminal at Detroit Metro Airport. Watch as that car in the left lane makes a sharp turn before crashing through a security pole, shattering the glass doors, driving straight into the terminal. That car barreling past a TSA line as passengers and workers scramble to get out of the way, finally slamming into the check-in counter. Fortunately, no one was hit by the car or debris. That driver getting out with his hands up.
The subject exited the vehicle, and upon exiting the vehicle, immediately appeared to be incoherent.
2 weeks after that crash, investigators still trying to understand how that car crashed through that security pole known as a bollard.
My surprise, I would have thought that our bollards would have stopped the vehicle, but it's evident that they don't.
Lindsay, police say the driver's undergoing a medical evaluation as they await toxicology results. No charges have been filed. Lindsay?
Rhiannon, thank you. Some news on the economy tonight with sharp drops that hit Wall Street over investor fears about AI and a wave of concern about weakness in the job market. The Dow fell 592 points and closed at 48,908. The Bureau of Labor Statistics showed the estimated number of job openings is now at its lowest point in nearly 6 years. The official January 2026 jobs report is now scheduled to come out next week. And breaking news, we have just received a new video from Nancy Guthrie's family. This is her son, Cameron. Take a listen to what he had to say moments ago on Instagram.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
We'll, of course, stay on top of this story. Still ahead, the expiration of the historic U.S.-Russia nuclear weapons treaty is sparking concerns of a new arms race. We'll examine by the numbers. One of the most decorated black athletes in Winter Olympic history talks to our Maggie Rulli ahead of the games. The Inspire conversation you won't want to miss. And an L.A. Lakers suspended for getting physical with a mascot. Those details coming up. Welcome back, everyone. A key nuclear arms treaty between the United States and Russia has officially expired, meaning for the first time in decades, the two countries with most of the world's nuclear weapons won't have any official limits on their deployment. Today, President Trump said he would rather have a new, improved and modernized treaty instead of an extension of the existing agreement. Let's take a look at the expiration of this treaty by the numbers. The now expired treaty, commonly referred to as New START, went into effect in 2011. It was the latest in a series of treaties, with the first being signed in 1972 as the arms race between the two was heating up. Agreements before New START had reduced the global nuclear arsenal by more than 80% since the Cold War, as according to the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation. Under New START, each side was limited to 1,550 deployed nuclear warheads and no more than 700 deployed intercontinental or submarine-launched ballistic missiles and heavy bombers. Russian President Vladimir Putin offered to extend terms of the treaty by 1 year in September, but Russia says the U.S. never officially responded. Officials say Trump wants China involved in any new deal. A Pentagon report from last year said China's nuclear weapons stockpile could reach 1,000 by 2030, though they currently have far fewer weapons than the U.S. and Russia. Still ahead, a new health alert is issued in Mexico after a major measles outbreak there. And the NFL is going where it's never gone before. We'll tell you which country will host its first ever game this season and who'll be playing there. Welcome back to Prime. Here's a look at the stories making headlines right now. The urgent search for the mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie enters its 5th day. Savannah's brother, Nancy's son, a short while ago recorded a statement saying, "To whoever took Nancy, we are waiting for contact." New details provided by the Pima County Sheriff and the FBI reveal the time frame Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home. The FBI is now jointly investigating and offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts. A crash into a Los Angeles grocery store killed at least 3 people and injured 6 others. Officials are still investigating but believe the crash was accidental. Authorities as of now believe the driver lost control of her car, hit a bicyclist, and then crashed into the market. The new government website TrumpRx was officially launched today. The site intends to help connect Americans with drug companies to buy prescriptions directly using their own money. It's not clear, however, how many patients will save money. Researchers who study drug pricing warn that some Americans may overpay and that prices on the site are expected to vary widely. A health alert has been issued in the Mexican state of Jalisco due to a measles outbreak. According to Mexico's government, there are more than 1,000 confirmed cases and another 2,000 suspected cases. The state's capital, Guadalajara, is a key host city for the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup. Officials have issued a mandate to use face masks in schools to try to prevent the disease from spreading further. And still ahead, she's bobsledding in her 5th Olympics, having medaled in her first 4. Our Maggie Rulli talks with Elana Meyers Taylor, the most decorated black athlete in the history of the Winter Olympics, and later the classic American pizza chain closing hundreds of locations. The Winter Olympic Games in Italy are already underway ahead of tomorrow's opening ceremony. Athletes vying for a top spot on the podium and a coveted Olympic gold medal, including Elana Meyers Taylor, one of the most decorated black athletes in Winter Olympic history. She'll soon be speeding down the bobsled track in what may be her final Olympics. Elana sat down with ABC's Maggie Rulli ahead of the Olympic Games to talk about making history, juggling parenthood with her sport, all while inspiring future generations of Olympians.
She's the Tom Brady of our sport. She's really put our sport on the map.
She's very much a team player, there to support you in any way she can. She's an incredible person, she's an incredible mom, an incredible teammate. She's been a powerhouse of the sport, for sure. The medals speak for themselves.
Let's build a train.
Elana Meyers Taylor, raised in sunny Atlanta, Georgia. She says her most important job raising her 2 kids.
You could take that.
And that's saying a lot because she's also a 5-time Olympic medalist and the most decorated Black athlete in Winter Olympic history.
Hi.
Hi. It's so good to finally meet you in person. This is so exciting.
Likewise. Welcome to bobsled.
Yeah, we met Elana in the frigid hours before sunrise.
Okay.
Ahead of the World Cup races at the Lillehammer bobsled track in Norway.
This is no joke.
I am admittedly crazy, and I think all of our sliding sports athletes, there's little stuff wrong with us because this is crazy.
I say this with love, but you kind of have to be to do this.
Yeah, a little bit off.
She's a legend of the sport, medaling in every Olympics she has competed in. But the bobsled wasn't her first choice.
I was willing to do whatever it took to become an Olympian, but I thought coming from Georgia, it'd be in a warm weather sport. So I was trying to make the Olympic softball team and had objectively, like I know people say this, but objectively, the worst tryout in the history of tryouts.
But Elana has never been one to let a failure stand in her way. Her parents saw bobsled on TV, so she Googled it, emailed the coach, and tried out. And now she's ready to cement her GOAT status in her 5th Olympics at the Milano Cortina Games in Italy. But bobsled isn't for the faint-hearted.
It's not like a roller coaster. It's like being shoved in a metal garbage can and kicked down a rocky hill. Like you have side vibration, you have back and forth, you have the G forces acting on you.
Elana's warming up right now, gearing up for her 5th Olympic season. What do you think motivates her?
Now her biggest motivation is her kids. To show her kids that she's still capable of all the things that she can do, and she can be a mom and be a very elite athlete.
You're a good dancer.
Elana's 2 sons, 5-year-old Nico and 3-year-old Noah, are along for the ride, often traveling with her on tour.
He's very
Elana inspiring herself and her teammates.
I also have a daughter, so seeing her and myself compete as moms, she definitely kind of paved that way.
I just want more and more women to have that opportunity and to know that kids can come along and be a part of your dream. And my kids are my dream.
Elana always pushing her limits to show her 2 sons, who are both disabled, that there are no limits.
My oldest has Down syndrome and he's deaf, and my youngest is deaf as well. So our primary language in the house is American Sign Language.
Did people tell you you can't do this? You can't bring 1, let alone 2 kids with disabilities traveling around the world with you as you train to be an Olympian?
Plenty of people told me that, and they still tell me that. For me, it's changed how I look at everything, and it's taught me in bobsled to celebrate my small victories as well. Also, they mean more because of the hard, because if I have a bad night with Nico, the small win of figuring out a curve means that much more.
Her oldest, Nico, her inspiration during one of her darkest times. A new mom recovering from a challenging birth when the pandemic hits in the middle of her training. Then, during the Beijing Games, she tests positive for COVID, enduring a heartbreaking isolation from her son and missing her chance to be the Olympic flag bearer. I spoke with her in China when she was in quarantine.
What did you think when you got the news?
I was pretty shocked. Did everything we could to try and avoid it, and it still caught up to us anyways.
You get COVID, you're in quarantine, yet somehow remind everyone, did you medal?
Twice. It was wild. Wild doesn't even begin to explain it. So to cross the line and to have those medals, the greatest feeling I've ever had in a sled is like crossing that line and doing that because of everything we went through.
After the games, she had her 2nd son and new complications.
What was your physical recovery like?
A WNBA player had said it best, like each time she has a child, she's on a different body. And so after my first kid, I was on my 2nd body, and after Noah, I was on my 3rd body.
Like any mom, she says she figured it out as she went.
It was chaos, and it's kind of funny because as a new parent, like, especially your first, you have everything planned out. You have
and then nothing
everything
goes according to plan.
Of course.
Yeah.
But how do you breastfeed during training? Like, the kid's not with me, or how do I pump? How do I do all this at a track? Like, just trying to figure all this stuff out. Like, it was just chaotic.
She may look and feel entirely different. As we saw, Elana is back.
I hear him. They're coming. That was amazing. That was Elana. Okay, that is so incredible. I don't even know if you got that on camera. It was so fast. So what made you want to come back this year?
Because my son Noah. Both my boys are going to have challenges that I'll never understand. They're going to have people tell them no. They already have had people tell them no in their lives. I want to show them that they weren't limitations to their mom's dream, that their mom kept pushing through despite everything going on.
As she builds her family and her resume, she's also building the future of this sport. Her teammates, many of them ex-track and field athletes, telling us it was Elana who found them and urged them to get in the sled. You also seem to be the chief recruiter for Team USA Bobsled.
I absolutely love this sport, and I absolutely love competing for the U.S. I want to make sure that legacy continues well after I'm gone.
How many more Olympics do you have in you?
They told me at the last Olympics I was the oldest U.S. woman to win a Winter Olympic medal.
Thank you.
So that one was like, okay, I can feel that. I feel that in my back. But like realistically, like there's a good chance that this is it. And for me, my family's Italian. They're all going to come over for the games, so it's going to mean a lot to end it there. I want to go out there and win a gold medal.
All right, we'll be watching to see if she can do it. Our thanks to Maggie for that. And coming up, caught on tape, an Amazon delivery drone crashes in a Texas neighborhood. And Emmy Award-winning writer, producer, and actress Lena Waithe is here. She's about to make her playwriting and stage acting debut. We'll also talk about the end of her hit series, The Chi. A Lakers player suspended for shoving a mascot. Pizza Hut closes hundreds of locations, and an Amazon drone comes crashing down. These stories and more in tonight's Rundown. Los Angeles Lakers center Jackson Hayes has been suspended one game without pay for pushing the Washington Wizards mascot last week during pregame introductions. The incident occurred when Wizards mascot G Wiz was running off the court waving an oversized Wizards flag. As the mascot neared the Lakers bench, Hayes shoved his shoulder into the mascot's body. He'll serve his one-game suspension tonight when the Lakers play the 76ers. A police chase in Los Angeles took a bizarre turn as the suspect busted a move before getting cuffed by police. LAPD officers were responding to reports of a suspected DUI driver and started pursuing a suspect. The chase ultimately ended in the parking lot of a shopping center in the Westlake district. Aerial video captured the driver getting out of the car and dancing before they were taken into custody. No further information from police has been released. Pizza Hut announced they'll close 250 locations across the U.S. as its parent company, Yum Brands, is considering selling the chain altogether. The pizza chain has about 6,000 locations in the country, and Yum Brands said it will close underperforming stores following a 5% dip in sales. Pizza Hut has a long history in the U.S. It was founded in Kansas in 1958 before being sold to PepsiCo in the late 1970s. Remember the Pepsi commercial that promised a fighter jet for 7 million points to the man who actually got the points and then asked for the jet? Nearly 3 decades later, Frontier Airlines is now giving him the jet. Sort of. The airline says it's giving John Leonard 7 million flight miles, the equivalent of free flights for life with the airline. Leonard took the original Pepsi ad seriously and gathered enough points, but did not get the plane. He then filed a lawsuit, but the court sided with the soda company. Frontier will also allow customers to swap unused reward points from any other loyalty program, including airlines, hotels, fast food chains, and others, to receive up to 5,000 free miles from Frontier. An Amazon Prime delivery drone crashed into the side of a residential building in Texas, causing minor damage. Local firefighters were called to the scene after the downed drone started smoking on the sidewalk. Luckily, it never caught on fire and no one was injured. Amazon said that they're investigating the incident and are helping the building make repairs. It's a derby down under. The 49ers will face off against the Los Angeles Rams for the first NFL regular season game in Melbourne, Australia during the 2026 season. In addition to Australia, the NFL is also slated to have a game in Mexico City, Paris, Rio de Janeiro, Munich, and Madrid, along with 3 games in London in the 2026 season. All in all, a total of 9 games will be played outside of the United States, marking a record for the league. Lena Waithe is one of the defining creatives of the 21st century. Between her breakout Showtime series, The Chi, her stellar performance as Denise on Master of None, earning an Emmy for her writing on the show, or her road trip crime thriller, Queen and Slim. She has built a reputation as a bold and intimate filmmaker, amplifying Black voices across the country. But now she's taken a chance on herself, making her playwriting and stage acting debut. In Lena Waithe's Trinity, three people slip through the realm of fantasy and reality, acting out moments that they're too afraid to live in real life. Shifting through the role play, a romantic comedy and drama found between family, friends, and lovers. It's as funny as it is emotional and fearless. Needless to say, it's Lena at her core, deeply human, and joining us now, the Emmy Award winner herself. Lena, thank you so much for joining us.
Wow, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that introduction.
So you are 1 week away from opening night on the big stage. How are you feeling?
Nervous, but excited. I'm always looking for new mountains to climb, and this one is definitely, Everest.
You feel that way, really? So it's the biggest leap you would say you've taken so far?
Look, I've taken a lot of leaps in my career, in television and film, as a writer and as a performer, but I think in theater, there's no second take. There's no safety net. Yes. If you forget the line, you got to act like you're thinking, and you also, it's me and two other people on stage, the three-hander. So we really are a trinity, and we have to be locked in and we have to be connected. And everybody's line depends on your next line. So if you drop the ball, then you got to hope your teammate catches it with you. And also just the thrill of a live audience. I think we as a society are so isolated right now. But we are starting to gather. We're starting to come together, whether it be in the streets, but or live performances. But particularly, we want people to start gathering in theaters because it's the way we really have always told stories. And as a storyteller, I want to take us back to that.
Why the stage? Once you've done TV and you've done film, why enter this realm?
Well, I think in my career, I've lived my life in boxes, whether they be big or small. And I think with the stage, there's no walls, there's no ceiling, really. You can do anything. And I think that's what we've been doing. And you're encouraged to play. You sort of tap into your inner child when you're in theater because you have to use your imagination. And
you tackle these ideas that maybe they're in our head, but we're often too afraid to live out loud. It's such a concept that many of us can relate to. How did you come about this idea?
Well, there's this thing that we do in our lives where we say, what if? Yeah. What if I never cheated? What if I never got married? What if I didn't have a kid? What if I never met you? It's an existential play where I'm examining the questions about life, not really trying to give people the answers. So people will leave, I think, having a lot of conversations after this one.
How have you processed saying goodbye to The Chi? You announced it last year that this season is going to be the last, and this is a project that you really birthed and worked on for pretty much the last decade.
Yeah. I've never done a last final season of a show before. Whenever I tell people how many seasons we've gone, people say that's unheard of. A show can't go on that long anymore. And so we feel really much we're part of history, and I'm grateful for that. And hopefully we just land the plane. It's the last dance. The Chi says goodbye, and I hope everybody comes back and tunes in. It kind of feels like an old family reunion every week this season.
And just to bring this back full circle, for people who are going to go and see the play, what do you hope that they're going to feel? Because we talked earlier about how it's emotional, it's funny at the same time, but what do you feel is the through line?
That we are all more alike than we'd like to maybe believe. We all want the same things. We're all human beings. And I think we tend to divide ourselves up in different categories, which I understand. Like, I'm Black, I'm female, I'm proud, I'm queer, I'm all these different things, but I'm a human at the end of the day. And that's what all of us are. And so my hope is people kind of walk away having empathy for all these characters, seeing themselves in these characters, and wanting to be more self-reflective when they go home.
Lena Waithe, congratulations in advance. All the best to you. So appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
You can see Lena in Trinity, her playwriting and stage acting debut at Baltimore Center Stage beginning February 12th through March 8th. And that's our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Have a good night.